The Secret to Control, Unveiling the Inner Monsters. How many times have you felt like you were fighting a losing battle against your own desires? That piece of cake in the middle of a diet, the urge to smoke whispering persistently, or even the impulse to give in to procrastination at critical moments. It seems that the more we struggle to turn off these impulses, the stronger they become, as if we're stuck in an eternal tug of war. But what if the solution isn't to win, but to let go of the rope? What if the secret to true self-control lies in embracing internal battles rather than running from them? In this journey, we will explore how our behaviors, desires, and choices are interconnected and, above all, how acceptance can be the key to a more genuine and liberating control. When the monster awakens, recognizing hidden desires. Why do we continue to engage in behaviors we know are harmful? This question may seem simple, but the answer leads us to a deep dive into our psyche and daily habits. The monsters of desire often hide in our routines. They don't scream for our attention. They whisper, appearing in the most unexpected moments, during daily tasks in silent spaces, or even amidst intense emotions. Desires are not inherently bad. They are rooted in natural mechanisms of survival and reward. Eating, resting, and seeking comfort are fundamental parts of who we are. The problem arises when these desires begin to dominate our choices automatically. You wake up, smell the coffee, and light a cigarette. A stressful day ends with an empty box of cookies. Without realizing it, we build routines where we never question why we act as we do. Recognizing hidden desires is an invitation to step out of autopilot. This requires courage to pause and observe. Where do you feel this desire? In the growling stomach, the tension in your shoulders, or the restlessness that won't let you relax? Identifying these sensations isn't comfortable, but it is essential. Just like an explorer mapping new territory, you start to understand what truly drives your choices. More importantly, it's vital to distinguish between desire and need. Often, desire arises as a quick fix for an unmet need. Stress, loneliness, or sadness demand comfort, and desire temporarily offers it. Understanding this dynamic is the first step toward responding more consciously. Letting go of the rope, the art of stopping the fight. One of the greatest illusions about self-control is the idea that we need to fight our desires to overcome them. This approach is like engaging in a tug-of-war with a giant monster. Sometimes you win, but more often you lose. Even when you win, the struggle leaves you exhausted. The secret, as many discover, is to let go of the rope. This doesn't mean giving up or giving in, but adopting a stance of acceptance. When you stop resisting, you begin to see desire for what it truly is, a passing wave. It rises, peaks, and eventually subsides. You don't have to be dragged by this wave, nor do you have to fight against it. You only need to observe it. Letting go of the rope requires practice. At first, it may feel strange not to react immediately to an impulse. When that desire for a piece of cake arises, for example, it's tempting to either give in or suppress it. Instead, try pausing. Ask yourself, where is this desire coming from, and what am I trying to fulfill with this? These questions create a space between the desire and the action. This space is powerful. It is where you discover that you don't have to be a prisoner of your impulses. One helpful technique is adding phrases like, I am having the thought that. This helps to depersonalize the desire, making it less threatening. What once seemed like a massive monster now becomes something you can observe without obeying. A path of compassion, transforming criticism into care. Perhaps the most challenging aspect of desires is the weight of judgment. External criticism, combined with our own sense of guilt, can transform harmless desires into intense emotional battles. When a smoker is reprimanded or someone feels shame for not resisting dessert, the result is often the opposite of what's intended. more self-destructive behavior. Compassion is an essential tool for breaking the cycle. Imagine a close friend sharing their struggle to resist a desire. How would you respond? Likely with words of encouragement and understanding, not judgment or reprimand. So, why not offer yourself the same kindness? Self-compassion is not an excuse to give in, but an invitation to treat mistakes with humanity. We are all imperfect, and acknowledging that is freeing. When we stop punishing ourselves for every failure, we create an internal environment where it is easier to make better decisions. More importantly, compassion helps reframe our desires. Instead of seeing them as enemies, we start to understand them as signals. If you crave something sweet after a stressful day, perhaps what you truly need is rest or emotional comfort. Compassion is looking beyond the surface, seeking deeper and more lasting solutions. Ultimately, the combination of recognition, acceptance, and compassion creates a lighter and more effective path for dealing with our desires. Instead of fighting against them, we learn to walk alongside them, discovering what we truly need to live with greater freedom and intention.